Coin drop. Screen flash. The high score. Boss laugh. Thumb sore. Same fight. Lost track of the time all night. Snacks gone. Eyes red. Still shouting one more. Instead, distracted gamers press start. Button mashing from the heart. Round one. Game on. We get hit. Go hard. Distracted gamers press start.
We have found ourselves, confusingly, still on the subway landing platform.
Hard to get out of here, all right? I'm lost. I am but a country bumpkin.
Trying to
Well, we
shoot your
can't
way
cross
free.
we can't cross where the subway train is going because it never stops,
No.
and
It is
there's
very long.
zombies surrounding us. So
I don't know if it's zombies or... I think my headcanon is it's
I
evil...
cannot hear Rhett.
Uh-oh. Well, I
Oh.
can. You better dip out and dip back in.
Silver's having problems.
okay.
She couldn't hear me. Despite
Oh,
that...
It's selective.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, you can hear me now?
Yeah, that was weird.
My
I hear the other
head
two.
my headcanon is they're evil corporate police with like the Disney logo on their arm and stuff.
Oh,
I like that better.
I like
Of course.
that. Yeah.
You could have like consumer zombies or whatever witty cultural references you want to put into this podcast.
A repartee, if you will. Hmm.
Today they're just plain New Yorkers.
Oh,
Place your references here. We have, once again, an absurd amount of stuff to go through. It has been a big week for news, and I have a special secret piece of news that Ross is going to giggle at, I guarantee.
oh dear.
But I'm glad you've all joined us with me, Ross, Jason, Silver.
Thank you.
I've been foregoing a lot of the intro because people lose interest in 5 seconds because we are in the TikTok age. So let's push at least right into the top news of the day, much to a shocking, surprising, unexpected turn of events. Netflix bows out of the bid for Warner, and
Oh,
Paramount's
pretty surprising.
going to win.
Surprising to say the least. They were the odd, the underdog for that, the odd man out.
Yeah.
Well, they had penned a deal.
Mm-hmm. So, weird thing to back out on. I have a feeling that won't go well.
Let me at least put up a bit of news, and then we'll talk about the insanity that is what is happening right now. I think I picked something extremely unbiased. David Ellison scares the crap out of me how Paramount beat out Netflix, won Warner Brothers, and will change Hollywood forever. Oh, this sounds really...
No, well, not a big deal then.
So what roughly happens? There's been a lot of back and forth, and I'm sure their channels have covered things really closely and aggressively. Essentially, Warner Brothers, they put Warner Brothers up for sale because they've been out shopping it out to try and get somebody to buy it. A few companies
The way they've
expressed
been
interest.
losing money, yeah.
And eventually Netflix was the one that made the bid, essentially, that was attractive to Warner, and Warner accepted it. It was mostly for cash. It was this just big buyout. The stock was trading at like $10 or so before they started shopping it out. It's now at, I think the final deal is going to be at about $31 a share.
Oh,
So it's essentially tripled with all of this drama. I'm going to be honest, Warner's not worth that much.
No.
No.
What would that put them at? Like,
$110
what would that-
billion deal,
so how much was Fox again? 70?
something like that.
Wow, what a cheap whore Fox is. Wow, just a street walking skank.
And
Now
I mean,
look at, I mean, you know,
There's
Warner
some
Bros.
potential there with a lot of the IPs that Warner owns, but there's
Well,
been a
you-
lot of mismanagement with those IPs in recent years.
you're not buying it for the value of the company, you're buying it for potential value, essentially.
Yeah, it's very speculative, I would say.
And it's not even just brand IPs, it's companies that they own. Let's go down memory lane and look at essentially what they are going to be buying. Let's see. I had a list up.
I think it's that one.
I'm gonna put my news thing down. So let's see. We're talking Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter, Star Trek, Mission Impossible, Transformers, The Conjuring, A Quiet Place, Mortal Kombat, Ninja Turtles, Looney Tunes, Tom and Jerry, Beetlejuice, Gremlins, SpongeBob, SquarePants, Avatar, Dora the Explorer.
Lesser Clippers.
HBO, CNN, and the big question with CNN is like, oh, by the way, Paramount already owns CBS, but they're also
Time
going to
to go.
control DC Studios, Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, Nickelodeon, MTV, Showtime, TNT, Comedy Central, Turner Classic Movies, DC Comics. Yeah. Multi-mega, super awesome, giant corporation.
It's a lot of pieces to that puzzle.
Well, and a lot of people are reacting going, see, a lot of the reaction on the normie level, and not that we're not normie, is, what is this going to mean for my favorite brand? I really care about Harry Potter. And it's like, well, Harry Potter is already filming. There are some people on the right who are like, well, does this mean that they're going to change Black Snape now? And it's like, I don't think they're going to change Black Snape.
Probably not.
No.
I would be very surprised.
Always, I mean, it's always possible with the new stuff coming in that could happen, but I would say that the probability is very low.
They're
They
already
don't want to
filming.
interrupt what
Yeah,
they're
not
doing.
if they're already filming. Yeah.
Yeah.
The backlash of changing it deliberately at this point would be absurd.
Yeah, that would be worse.
Well, especially against
Arguably.
very loud activist groups of people.
Mhm.
It's not, they're not changing it.
Mhm.
Now, before we get into that, a lot of the negativity around what was happening was surrounding the fact that Netflix was buying it. Why is Netflix buying it going to be bad? Well, a lot of Hollywood hates that because Netflix is not exactly the traditional Hollywood system of putting movies out in theaters.
Right.
We've had this discussion before.
Mhm.
I mean, they've done that. They have put stuff out in theaters, but that's really not their model.
No.
What movies have they put out in theaters?
I'd have to go and look.
I know it was stuff to try and get.
Well, that's the only reason. Because if you want to be considered for awards, you have to
Yeah.
be in theaters for at least a week or two, which they did. And then just
Yeah.
put it.
And then, of course, they did the amazing Stranger Things finale.
That's right. Which is
Yeah, that
terrible. But
went
the
over
point,
so well. It created conspiracy theory.
the point being that they don't manage their stuff traditionally. They don't go through the
No.
theater
Yeah.
system. You're not going to get contracts based upon, how many tickets sold and that sort of thing. Netflix is this whole other ball of wax. And Warner is a 100-year-old traditional American Hollywood studio brand that's been around forever. And it's like, well, Netflix is buying it up. And Netflix is the future. And it made a lot of people in Hollywood soil their pants in rage over what their future is going to look like. They're still desperately, with clawed fingers, holding on to what they hope is going to be their own survival. And the odds of that being a thing is I mean, even if you can pick fights over minor things like mergers, in the long run, you're gonna lose this fight.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you could do about it. James Cameron essentially came out in a fit of weird rage and weighed in constantly over the drama that was happening. There was a funny Gizmodo article with the title, James Cameron has entered the Paramount Netflix Warner Brothers war on the side of James Cameron.
Oh, thank God. Unsurprising.
They call him a quote-unquote humble movie farmer.
Humble movie farmer billionaire.
How kind.
Why don't we read some quotes from Mr. Humble Movie Farmer? Let's see. My 44 years directing career has been focused on making movies for the theatrical exhibition, and I believe strongly that seeing movies in theaters is an important pillar of our culture. He wrote later in a letter he calls himself a humble movie farmer. He asserts that the proposed sale of Warner Brothers Discovery to Netflix will be disastrous to the movie picture business that I have dedicated my life's work to. Of course, all of my films play in the downstream video markets as well, but my first love is the cinema. Theatrical exhibition is a critical part of my creative vision. I believe in the big screen. Did you notice how every time they talk about things like this, they make impassioned, emotional speeches about how much it means to them and how important it is, not this is also still a good, viable economic model.
Yeah, there's not a lot said about how successful it is as of right now.
They do the but my feelings though.
But I remember loving the movies. It was such a fun time.
He calls out Sarandos being the CEO of Netflix, as being outmoded and outdated, and writes that because the business model of Netflix is directly at odds with theatrical film production and exhibition business, that puts it directly at odds with the business model of Warner Brothers movies division. He's also doubtful Netflix will stick to its pledge about keeping movies in theaters for a set amount of time. His letter cited a 17-day theatrical window that was cited in an earlier deadline report, rather than the more recently mentioned 45-day window. What administrative body will hold them to task if they slowly sunset their so-called commitment to theatrical releases? Yeah, I get it. You're really butthurt, and you don't like that Netflix is changing things. Yeah, well, guess what? You win. Netflix doesn't buy them. Paramount buys them, because Netflix seems to have gotten sick of all of the drama. Now, you might ask, well, I thought they penned a deal. Wasn't there a deal where if Netflix backed out, they'd have to pay like $4 billion to Warner or something insane?
I seem to remember that.
Well, they did pen a deal. And Paramount kept on offering more and more deals, despite the fact that Netflix and Warner had a penned agreement to hash everything out. And Paramount finally came up with a deal where Warner went, well, they proposed a better deal that we're really happy with. What do you think, Netflix? And Netflix was like, you know what? I'm sick of this. I'm out. Now, that might make you go, well, does that mean that Netflix has to pay Warner? No, because they made an agreement based upon the previous deal that Netflix and Warner came to an agreement on. Because they're demanding more money because Paramount is offering a bigger deal. The violator of the contract is Warner. Not Netflix. And Warner is going to have to pay Netflix $7 billion for failing on this deal.
Oh my God.
And you might go,
God.
No, that's insane. Guess who's going to eat that cost? Paramount is going to eat that cost.
Wonderful. The deal gets better by the second.
Think about things for 5 seconds.
Well,
not only did Paramount come up with a deal that Warner thought was so much better that it warranted them breaking their deal with Netflix, but it also imposed a huge penalty on Warner Brothers that now that penalty belongs to Paramount.
Yeah.
So Paramount is getting screwed either way.
Well, Paramount. So here's the problem here. Now that Paramount's accruing all of these new brands and companies and everything, Paramount's in the red itself.
Yeah.
I have it written down. I have to find it. Let's see. Paramount has about $14 billion in debt, and they're taking on Warner's $33.38 billion, including on top of that the $7 billion for backing out of the deal.
Oh my god.
So next year we're going to have this same conversation. Only Netflix is going to be trying to buy Paramount.
Well, and Paramount's just an financially unhealthy company. And Paramount's idea, apparently, is that if they buy all these brands, it'll be part of their strategy of being able to reverse the issue. But how are they buying all of this, especially when they're looking at the valuation deal to being 110? On top of that, we're looking at with the debt 165-ish billion dollars. If you count the debt and the cost of buying out the stock, sort of thing.
Oh my god. The stockholders of Paramount must just be like, could we just get paid instead? Is that a thing that could happen?
Well, especially when Netflix actually has the cash on hand liquid to purchase this. Paramount doesn't. Paramount's spending what is essentially investor money that comes from places like Silicon Valley, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, Qatar. I heard Jews are involved.
Dear God, in Hollywood?
No.
Are you sure?
And so at this point you're thinking, wow, this might reflect poorly on Netflix. Netflix stock took a dive when they announced this purchase because there was a lot of negative response to it. Their stock's going back up and had a big jump recently.
What if that was their they knew that this stupid fight would happen, and they're like, "Look, we got to bump the stock. Come on, let's get a good stock."
I don't know if it's regained its previous position before that dump,
Oh.
but they are gaining more. Their stock's gaining more from this than Paramount stock is.
God.
Yeah.
And so you're like, well, Paramount seems overly confident that spending all of this money and taking all of this debt is going to somehow turn out to be great. When Paramount is in the process of putting out things like Star Trek Academy.
Oh.
And despite the anger at Netflix and this horrible giant corporation that's just the movie industry, my passion, Ross. I like blue cats having sex with trees.
I want you to imagine Dances with Wolves, but somehow stupider.
Somehow worse. But I'm so passionate about the movie industry. Well, you must be happier now because another studio is buying it. Guess what? They're now still unhappy. You know why they're now still unhappy?
Because I bet I know.
Because the CEO of Paramount is apparently friends with Trump. So now they're claiming MAGA is buying all of these big brands and everything's going to move hard right extremist. And it's like, he's already making one of the worst shows possible with Star Trek Academy. What makes you think they're going to MAGA up anything else?
Yeah.
They MAGA it up. It could only improve it.
But there's no indication that remotely will be a thing.
Right.
And it's not like they've already given an indication that they're good stewards of the brands they already own.
Right.
On top of this, they already own a massive news network in the form of CBS. And they're now buying CNN. Are we going to have questions about how much news they're going to control on their end? And going to be able to steer
It's going to be meet the new boss, same as the old boss, in my opinion.
I don't know about that. Every time there's a merger, there are mass layoffs and purges.
Someone's getting axed. And because the other thing is too
that I don't think CNN is going to change tack. I think
they already have been changing tack because of new leadership.
Really?
Yes, they're not happy with it. Mainly because hey, the left wing has taken over most of the news, and CNN has a left wing news lean.
Yeah.
They've been reversing a lot of that, and internally there's been a lot of bitterness and anger over it, and they don't like it. There's been open pen letters in opposition to the direction that they're going, of reporting the news and not editorializing everything.
Oh my god. The thing, because I think you're right. I think there's going to be some stuff on the chopping block, and I also wonder too. I don't know. I hope I'm not getting ahead of anything, but do you think maybe part of the strategy for Paramount is take on all these things and then start spinning stuff off and have it holding a lot of the debt?
Chop up into a bunch of smaller companies. Well, a bunch of people are really, really angry at the situation at hand, mainly because now they're calling, what do you call it? The company's too big and they're going to own too much of the market share.
Oh, like
Monopoly.
a
monopoly sort of thing.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, antitrust, and we don't like that they own. California is already filing paperwork in opposition to this merger,
Wow.
to this purchase. Already, there are people
Oh, damn.
protesting and filing lawsuits to try and stop this from happening in California. And it's like, so what's the best case scenario? Warner sticks around and goes out of business or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, you would just
Auction
prefer...
off their assets.
You would prefer Paramount not buy them or Netflix not buy them, just Warner bleed into obscurity and eventually go away?
Yeah,
Is that
It
your
is weird.
conclusion?
I mean, because like what? I don't know. Do you think the state of California? I mean, there is like a genuine aspect to like if it was any state other than California, I would go like, oh well, they're genuinely concerned about it. But because it's California, it's like no. My immediate conclusion is, what is actually scaring you? Is it because now if this dies, like truly Hollywood will croak with it? Because I mean that is a lot of stuff to hold. I mean between them and Disney, that's like most everything, isn't it?
A lot of it, yeah.
Yeah, like I don't know.
I don't know. Sometimes they just protest for the sake of protesting.
Oh sure.
Paramount could make a lot of money coming out of this. I don't imagine that they would be happy to do this, but I imagine that if Paramount were actually serious about their properties and things, that they could farm them out to other studios and things. Not necessarily like selling them off, but licensing them out to other studios.
What other
and
studios
recouping
though?
a lot of cash that way.
Like
but-
there's no one left. They're what, Disney? Like like
Well, there's
Between-
Disney, there's Netflix, there's Sony, there's a bunch of places that could.
Sony is not doing well.
so, yeah, I was gonna say,
movie-wise.
what is Sony gonna like? Only if the license was like $5.
Hey, that
Like-
might be what they do. They might say, "Look, you make a profit on this, and we get a percentage of the profit."
Boy, if Hollywood gets to that point, and frankly, they're probably not far from it. That's really
No,
bad.
I mean, with as much debt as Paramount is taking on, I see Paramount going out of business real soon, and Netflix going, "Well, we wanted to do this the other way, but now we get it anyway."
Here you come crawling back.
Yeah. Or they do a thing where it's just like, look, this license costs you nothing, but if you make a profit of it, you start paying us, kind of thing.
Nah, the Saudis are paying for it.
Oh, the Saud.
Old House of Saud.
Yes.
And then there's, everybody's individual concerns of what does this mean for the brand I care about? What does this mean for Harry Potter? Is the show still going forward? Yeah, probably. And this doesn't take place immediately. This is going to be 6 months, 10 months
At least.
Yeah.
before
And if
anything gets final.
If the lawsuit gains traction, they're going to have to fight that lawsuit first.
And then we're going to get the Harry Potter series out at some point. and then it's going to be bad, and then they're going to be like, we don't want to do more.
You don't know that. It could be great. What do you mean?
I mean, Game of Thrones, and it's like Game of Thrones is a big brand. Well, sure, but then season
You have
8,
to
7,
make
and 8 were
something.
terrible.
Yeah.
And then people kind of liked House of the Dragon, and then really liked the new Dunk and Egg stuff. But that's not as big a banger and a zeitgeist moment as it used to be, where
Right.
just record numbers of people were crawling out of the woodwork to see every new Game of Thrones episode. It was the most pirated show ever, Game of Thrones.
Maybe we could just take it back a second and go, what if we just made shows that people wanted to watch? They don't have to be the biggest thing ever. It could just be well budgeted shows that people will watch. Could we do that?
See,
Is that a thing
Ross,
that we want to?
I've been sitting here thinking for a while about the idea of reasonable decisions. Like, how do you save some of these brands? How do you reverse course on some of these mistakes? And a lot of people inevitably go, well, they need to put things like Star Trek on ice for 10 years so that we forget about it. And then maybe they rebuild it up again or reboot in some way. I don't think any of these options are possible or even likely. These are potential, these are ideas that people say when they're trying to save brands that they care about. I don't think these are realistic ideas to save some of these brands. Because nobody ever reverses on things.
Yeah.
It's been pretty rare.
Not so far, anyway.
I mean,
I
the only
can't
one
think
I
of a
could
big
think
one.
of is Sonic.
Yeah. Sonic the Hedgehog.
But
yeah.
it didn't change his character. It just made him look less balls. With human teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the story was still the same as it was ever going to be. They just had to panicked change how he looked because we can't have a Chris Chan pepper spraying people at the movie theater.
Which was a potential danger, honestly.
Oh, had they been arrogant and not changed their ways, someone was getting pepper sprayed at the movie theater. I'm just saying.
Well, and we're talking about these brands that Paramount controls. It's like, well, how do you seriously fix Star Trek? Well, you could go into a new timeline. You could put it on hiatus for a while. Star Wars should go on hiatus. This, and this. And it's like none of that's going to happen. None of it. Everybody who are wishful thinking that they can reverse course on some of these bad brand decisions are up their butts that they think that anything can be fixed reasonably. Or that they really have the desire to. Brand goes bad, they're just going to not make any more.
Yeah, unfortunately, because it's not theirs. Like, that's the reality we're living with, too, in the modern Hollywood. I mean, what brand that has been big in the last 10 or 15 years, that's been huge at least, I mean, big, has been like not an adaptation of something else, or a continuation of something that was big 20 years, 30 years ago. I mean, these are all people coming to something that they didn't create to try and make, squeeze more money out of that lemon. And they don't care. Whatever. Just leave it there. I don't give a crap. Because they didn't make it.
Well, and any idea that somehow Paramount's going to reverse course on some of the bad decisions of Warner, well, they're going to be good stewards of these brands. What makes you think that's going to happen?
They already aren't good stewards of their own brands.
So now we're looking at what's going to happen to New Line Cinema and Lord of the Rings. We're looking down the line at the Hunt for Gollum. Was that a story I really was interested in seeing?
Hey, you know that weird middle bit of Lord of the Rings, Fellowship? Anyway, here you go.
You know what would be great? The story of Hurin. That'd be great.
Just real sad.
Yeah, just incredibly depressing story about where he just dies in the end. But it's like there are other stories you could tell. No, remember Ian McKellen and Gandalf and Gollum. Hey, we'll
some
do an
Gandalf.
animated show. It's terrible.
Oh,
We don't even get the Silmarillion.
I want to believe.
Silmarillion is so unreasonably huge to add. You'd have to do it in a epic 7-movie, 3 hours apiece.
Which is what I want.
Well, yeah, but then here's the thing: are you convinced that they'll do a good job?
No, but in an ideal world, I'm just like, ooh, a good series of movies. We haven't had good series of movies in forever.
Peter Jackson did some of the greatest trilogy of all time, and then The Hobbit, which was not as good.
How dare you?
And it's like, that was the guy who pulled it off correctly, and then couldn't recapture lightning in bottle. What makes you think some
Fallen
random other
Goblin?
guy? I mean, look at the word we're getting with Narnia. The people working, the people at Netflix are saying that they're going to adapt Narnia for modern audiences, and they're going to do their own take on it. What makes you think that's going to
Red
turn out
flag
successful?
number one. Yeah.
And so now we're sitting on huge brands with Paramount. What's gonna happen to these? Ross, with the dying of traditional animation, the Cartoon Network as well as Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon's dying. They've had a massive purge at Nickelodeon in the past year or so.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Like traditional animation, physical copies, I guess it'll at least be better with them as opposed to under Netflix.
Yeah, it's at least a higher chance of happening.
There's a lot of concern of people on the inside worried about what's going to happen to DC Comics. Do you think Paramount wants to hold on to the dying brand of DC Comics? Do you think Jim Lee is going to sit and be able to the new owners are going to willingly listen to them as he reports, hey, another loss this quarter?
Also, I just heard about this thing called manga, guys. Apparently, it's a big deal.
I just learned about this.
Have you heard about this? I just heard about this.
I think it's short for manganese.
I don't know. It's weird. They read it from the wrong side. I don't know. I don't understand it. I'm going to be honest.
While it's true that the new Warner mount will need its hits at the box office, the Ellison bid is being financed by the Saudis, we're unlikely to run out of money. So profits may not even be the main concern for a while. Ellison has shown a liking for loud, colorful action movies. The biggest hits at Skydance, his solo shingle, included Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible, which the last movie didn't do super well.
I was going to say, did the last two not do great?
So once again, keeping a steady supply of hit DC superhero movies would seem to be a desired outcome no matter who buys the studio. However, given Ellison's meddling with tone and content, I would now rate them getting rid of Gunn / Safran as likely in the short term.
Wow.
I mean, imagine being James Gunn having to repitch that you know what the hell you're doing when you failed at Superman.
No, it was a huge hit, I promise.
Although James Gunn has toned down his political social media posts since he became a studio head, it's no secret he's not a fan of the current presidential regime, and he's already being targeted by MAGA once. But as some have pointed out, Warner Brothers has been poison chalice for everybody who bought it. AOL, AT&T, Discovery, Paramount is taking on 60 to 70 billion for this deal. What to do with the superheroes has perplexed studio heads for decades. With the installation of Gunn and Peter Safran running DC Studios and the reveal of well-thought-out long-term plan, it seems that the problem has finally been solved, except for the fact that the movies are doing poorly. And who
Which
knows if
means it hasn't
Ellison's
been
going to be
solved, so.
happy with what happens down the road.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these are serious questions. Are they going to keep running DC Comics?
Yeah,
Or are they just going to
Why
hold on
would you
to,
want
that,
to, right?
to that loss as a way to as a place to mine stories for future movies that have
What
so far
stories?
not been successful?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I mean, what, absolute Batman? We're gonna have another Batman? Like, I don't think so. What's been successful that they've done other
Batman
than that? Not
reboot number
much.
10.
Number 5,000. Ah,
Hey everybody, we the Penguin was a huge banger and everybody loved it. James Gunn hates it though, so we're not doing it.
yeah, we're not following up on that. That shit's dumb. It doesn't fit in with what I want to do.
How long since the Batman came out?
What are we at? 5 years coming up? Was it 21 or 22?
Hit while that iron's hot,
Yeah.
Well, it's lukewarm, maybe. Oh.
especially when it's
Well,
one
we-
of the only successful DC movies to come out in the last while.
It was, at the time, it's like, man, that's kind of tepid. And hey, you know what? We could use this TV show to keep interest in the unit. Oh, no, we're not doing... Okay. Yeah, we're not doing that either. Right, okay.
Hey, are you looking forward to the standalone Clayface show?
Excuse me.
Great!
That's right, Silver. There's a show about the Batman villain Clayface coming out
Oh yeah.
this year
What?
during Halloween.
Why Clayface specifically? We've had Penguin, which Penguin was good. At least I hear. Why not? I don't know. Like, there's Scarecrow, there's...
I mean, Clayface is an interesting villain, but it's like, all right.
Why do they keep
Nice.
doing these movies where they focus on a villain rather than having the superhero fight the villain? That's
I don't necessarily think that's a guaranteed loss. Like, Joker was really, really good, and it earned them $1 billion. I don't
true.
think the question is, why do we care about a villain when there's nobody punching them? Well, the Joker was also really, really good.
I bet they
But-
followed up with a really good Joker, too.
But they have to exist in a world where Batman does exist, because they do reference Batman in Penguin.
Yes, they do.
So you can make character pieces, and Clayface is a really interesting character piece. An actor who is obsessed, trying to be the best actor ever, ends up becoming a Clayman, and his mind is just gone, like obsessing over mimicking other people and other things, and you could do a very interesting character story. But that's not a franchise runner. You still have to have a big Batman stuff going on. You can't run your show on interesting character pieces of Batman villains.
But I'm scared of Batman, and I don't know how to write him.
How about we do
But I
villains
can
of
write Weirdo.
other DC characters? Let's get Cheetah Woman or whatever.
Ooh, yeah. Killer Croc.
Killer Croc, Man Bat.
Well, I went for
Yeah.
someone worse. Cheetah, Killer Croc and Man Bat are more interesting than Cheetah Girl or whatever her name is.
Can you imagine if they made a
Yeah.
thoughtful, serious, Joker-esque Killer Croc movie? Just a fucking Crocodile Man movie that's
Well,
all serious?
And that is which version of Killer Croc? Is it the version where there's nothing wrong? He doesn't have powers. He's just a big jacked guy from the South with a skin condition. Or are you doing the one where he literally mutates into a giant crocodile? Or are you doing the one with the trash talking black guy from Suicide Squad where he's like, I look beautiful? Is that the version we're doing?
I prefer the mutant, personally.
The giant monster crocodile. But then it's like, if you're doing a character piece, you have to add humanity and characterization and story.
Nah, he just eats people. It's like that beginning part of The Witch, you know? Where that baby's just eaten. There's no denying what's happening.
Yeah, but the
That
witch
baby could
isn't
eat.
about the witch. It's about the family being harassed by the witch.
Well, yeah,
You're just
there you
going to
go.
make a horror movie about slowly people are disappearing into the sewers or something?
By a giant mutant crocodile man, yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
It's going to have a
That could actually
$250
work
million
pretty well.
budget.
A horror movie that's based on people fighting back against Killer Croc. That actually might be pretty good.
But that doesn't...
Well,
The problem... Then why do Killer Croc? Just do a horror movie.
Yeah.
What the hell are we talking about?
Also, a question: how come they always do these on like Batman villains? I get Batman villains are great and all, but just wait
That's
till
our
one
pretty good
comes
rogues
out
gallery.
that's specifically about like Dr. Curtis Connors from Spider-Man. Just like there he goes. There goes Lizard Man.
Hey, it's a
Well, they
doctor that's really obsessed with trying to regrow his arm.
Yeah,
Hey, they now
check
listen,
it out.
Silver. They did try to
Another
do
Morbius
villain
right
Spider-Man stuff. They were all terrible.
I mean, there's Venom, but what else was there? I'm not
And
thinking.
Morbius.
Morbius. I
Morbius.
forgot about that.
Oh,
Craven.
and yeah, Craven. Uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
forgot
and
about
that did really badly, and
And
everyone
I'm
villain.
hated
so
it.
sad he was in that. I like that actor a lot. I'm so sad he was in it.
Now we're in a weird position where it's like, oh, let's do character pieces over villains poorly.
Bad. Just not good.
Well,
What do you
see,
think would just be like the worst?
here's the thing.
Worst to do.
The Joker works really well because it's like a crime drama. The Joker, because see, Penguin is this crime drama,
Penguin too.
and Penguin is an unlikable character, but it's a fascinating story. It's like watching The Sopranos. Tony Soprano's a
Right.
piece of crap.
Right.
Joker goes through the relatable route of understanding
Of
the
the system
psychological
beating down
fall of
the-
an individual being as he
Yeah.
gets tipped over the edge and becomes a psychopath and is murdering people. You don't relate to Penguin. You do have sympathy for Joker. You don't necessarily relate to him, but you have sympathy for Joker. But in Penguin, it's like, well, he's just a bad guy. I don't like the idea of every villain has to have a story where you relate to them,
Yeah.
if I'm being
I hate
honest.
that.
But the Penguin didn't do that. He was just a bad dude. And you're like, you know what? The show still works. You don't have to relate to the villains, but for some reason, I have to relate to. I have such a stick up my craw about Venom and make it such a big deal. Well, let's make a show about Venom. Venom's a bad guy. He eats people. Well, yeah, but he became a good guy. Well, that's because everybody loved the villain character so
Popularity.
much they turned him into this anti-hero who eats people, which is baffling to me. Venom should have never been a good guy. He should never been relatable. Eddie Brock is a douche, and he should stay that way. No, I want to understand what makes
Now,
Venom
now
tick.
because of what they've done, we've now lost a really good Spider-Man villain.
Look at a picture of Venom and tell me that's a good guy.
Oh, come on. He's just from an alien planet, Rhett. Don't be that way. Come on.
As his tongue is hanging out with his spiked teeth and he's drooling over wanting to eat you. He's
Have
like,
you ever watched a Kiss concert? I mean, hello, Gene, like, what?
yeah, well,
Yeah, but
Gene
he doesn't
Simmons
want to
is a
eat
villain, is the problem.
Oh. I mean, you're probably right, yes.
Yeah. These are not heroic characteristics. Craven, he's just a hunter man. Craven's one of the greatest Spider-Man villains of all time. He should be a guy who's scary. He showed
Yeah.
up to hunt down Spider-Man. Instead, it's like, I'm a guy who likes to hunt or whatever.
And now I'm
I
going
got
after
attacked
bad
by a
guys.
lion that one time.
Remember?
Remember? So, Warner Brothers.
Yeah, and so what do you think? Are you excited? What are your thoughts on this? Because this is a conversation that could go on forever. What's going to happen to these different brands? How is the merger going to take the buyout going to take place? What's going to happen with the streaming? They're now going to own HBO. Are they going to own two streaming services? They going to merge one into another? And if they do, they should go Paramount into HBO because HBO is a more popular brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. At least for a little while, they're not going to merge things. But I could see them, deciding, hey, this really isn't working out. We're spending too much money on two streams. Let's merge them into one. But at least initially, they're going to leave it alone. I just kind of feel that this is a huge bad move on the part of Paramount, and we're going to see Paramount next up on the auction block here here relatively soon.
Well, when Netflix was going to be the one to take it, it was like, well, they're clearly going to spin off CNN. They don't want that.
Right.
Especially where like they probably are trying to avoid heat from antitrust. But you can assume the same thing with Paramount. But I mean, who knows? This changes things a lot, and it definitely feels like there's a lot of ego involved in this, like all the way around. Partially even into Netflix, but a lot less so, weirdly enough. Where it's just like, well, we got the better deal. Look, this is a big deal. We're getting, hundreds of billions. It's amazing. Yeah, you did it. Good job. What's the long-term plan? Because something's going to have to be on the chopping block real early. They can't keep taking on all these expenses that Warner has. That's clearly not working. Yeah. Otherwise, they wouldn't be in this position. And it's just a matter of what. I want it to be James Gunn because I think that'd be really funny. But at the same time, even if he goes, I mean, they're still going to keep making those movies. So I would imagine a lot of their TV stuff's going to get chopped and just spun off into its own thing and told to go away.
I mean, yeah, I don't think there's any chance of Paramount collapsing anytime being sold off, Jason. They're being propped up by investor money.
Yeah, if they got that Saudi money, that's daddy.
If anything, right if this ends up being a massive unsuccess, they'll end up being WB for 2-3 decades of just bleeding with unsuccessful franchises attempts. Yeah, Saudi isn't going to invest billions to not keep the thing propped up. But then the question is, well, now it's outside influence on these brands. But that's always been a question with a lot of Western stuff, allowing massive investments from outside.
Yeah, and it's becoming a thing beyond Hollywood. I mean, we talk about it with Hollywood a lot, with foreign money coming in. And entertainment in general. I mean, WWE, UFC, a lot of things going on there. But I mean, even in the gun world, not to I know we're an entertainment podcast, but like Beretta's sniffing at buying Ruger. Colt has been bought by a Czech company years ago now. This is a general thing in American industry in general. So
being bought up and huge traditional brands are being sort of picked at by the vultures. Silver, does this affect you in any way? Are you really concerned about Harry Potter?
I'm so concerned about Harry Potter. It's my life. I live it every day.
Stop with the young girl sass, all right?
Okay.
Okay.
I could care less.
All right. Oh. Are you fascinated by the turn of events?
No.
All right. I'm grateful that you joined us today.
Wow, brutal. Thank you.
Listen, you asked me to be honest here.
You certainly were.
Don't care.
And many people might, but it's just a lot of these brands. Like, you care about Lord of the Rings.
Yes, that's true.
What's going to happen to Lord of the Rings? And it's like, even video games, WB Games exists. This encompasses things like Mortal Kombat, Injustice, the Lord of the Rings games with Shadow of Mordor. And then we're talking Lego, the Lego games.
Ooh. That is them, huh? I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
So it's like, what are we looking at down the road? How are things going to be affected? Are you worried that we're not going to get Hunt for Gollum?
I hope we don't.
Yeah. All the good Lord of the Rings stuff came and went. It's over.
Oh. I was so excited for the War of the Rohirrim to be good, and boy, was I let down.
Well, here's the thing. You might roll your eyes, and it's like, whatever, the good stuff's already been out. They could still violate that corpse.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
And they will.
Oh.
Watch as they release
Legal.
new versions of the original Lord of the Rings movies.
Oh,
George Lucas, the original trilogy. They George Lucas the Fellowship. And
Helm's Deep, they
the
have
towers.
radios instead of swords in their hands.
Oh no! We brought in an expert on, going back to old movies and changing them. Yeah. So anyway, I thought, what if the Urukai, what if they said Cowabunga a bunch more times? What if they did that?
They bring in Orlando Bloom for more surfing scenes.
What if
I'm
he
not
surfed
mad.
across the plains to get to Rohan? Huh?
Every
What if he
5
did that?
minutes, he's surfing.
What if
he
you
did
attached the hobbits and made like a sled?
Wow, George, you really are smart. We're really glad we brought you on board.
Silver, I don't like that you're doing George Lucas accent now.
I'm a very good influence.
Yes, he is. And also it's hilarious.
Yeah, I worked this once again when it came to the Netflix deal. This is going to be a wait and see, but it was a shock and a culture-shattering, Hollywood-shattering turn of events for Netflix to buy it, let alone for Netflix to back out because Paramount was offering more money for a stock that's not worth that much.
Yeah, a little bit shocking.
And then we got James Cameron finally attacking. It was funny. There was a quote from Ted Sarandos, the CEO of Netflix, accusing James Cameron of spreading Paramount disinformation. Like there was conspiracy disinformation spread by Paramount to undermine Netflix or something.
Oh my lord. What
That's
a deeply
hilarious.
unserious place Hollywood is.
I mean, the stupid drama going on in the background has been pretty swell, you guys.
God. Absolute morons.
But yeah, looking forward to Megacore.
Oh, heck yeah. The
There will
evil
only be-
Megazord.
There will only be one corporation. Mickey will eat all of them.
The future of brands is now. All right, we're going to move to the news dump, but the news dump is going to have a couple stories that are going to be huge conversation pieces, so stick around for that. News dump.
News Dump Online. This is the Distracted Gamers. Connecting you now.
Hey, it's the news dump where we go through a bunch of the news really quickly.
Yay.
Ross,
Hmm?
something happened. Something
Oh?
happened at a place called the BAFTAs.
It did. That
Now-
is true.
Let me explain shortly what happened. So the BAFTAs, if you're not aware, are a British award show. It's like their Oscars.
Right.
They awarded an award for a guy who's in a movie about Tourette syndrome. He's playing a
That's
man named John Davidson, where the movie is sort of about his life, and his life was sort of this miserable, horrible experience. He went through a lot of really terrible hardships. They thought he was just acting out as a young man because he didn't show up until he was like in his teens, sort of thing. His dad ended up leaving the family. His mother didn't know what to do with him. Teachers didn't know what to do with him, thought he was acting out, sort of thing. He got beat up frequently. He couldn't go to parties. He got arrested because the cops thought he was talking back to him, sort of thing. He went through a genuinely heartbreaking life. Something you would feel bad about what happened to this man.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who played him in a movie was getting an award, and they
Young
invited
Elrond
him to the
from Rings of
BAFTAs. The actual man that the movie's based off of.
Right.
Now, if you know anything about Tourette's, it is an interesting neurological disorder where it basically removes inhibitions and controls over things like tics and saying certain words. Where normally you might go, I'm in a normal situation talking to a guy, I wouldn't do anything. Now your brain is telling you to say things you never would say. And
Right.
inappropriate things at inappropriate times.
Mm.
And unfortunately, he, a few times throughout the show, yelled out stuff. And in particular, when there were two presenters on stage, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo, and he yelled out the N-word. Now,
Oh.
they actually he said it twice throughout the show, and one was removed because of the delay. And they also removed somebody yelling out Free Palestine, that sort of thing.
Oh my god.
But they didn't remove this one. Now you might go, well, there's a short delay. Sometimes it might be difficult to edit this out. Ross, the delay was 2 hours.
2 hours? What? Did nobody have a notepad?
So
to put down a
the accusation against the BBC was you let this happen on purpose. I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's a big thing to say.
Do you know what BBC's response was?
Probably great.
It's really loud in the editing truck. I guess
For
they
2 hours, it's
I guess
really
they
loud?
didn't hear it when it happened.
Oh my god.
Everybody at home heard it.
It's really loud in the editing. What a thing to have to say. Can you imagine having to be the poor PR guy to have to make that statement?
Well, it's
Feel like such
really,
a
it's really
dumbass.
loud in the editing truck. We didn't, you know.
Oh my
excuse
God.
me. Well, like nobody in that
That's
2 hour
next.
delay reviewed it and was like, you know what? We caught something. We had 2 hours. Let's edit it out. I thought it was like 5 minutes. No.
That is a big delay.
That's
You have
a
no
large
excuse.
delay.
Now,
You would think that somebody caught that and would have gone back and said, you know what? There were two usages of the N-word. We need to make sure that both of those get edited out in the course of the 2 hours we have before this broadcast goes out to the rest of the world. You'd think that that would have been going through somebody's mind, that they would have checked on it. I mean, if a 5-minute delay, yeah, especially in the, like they said, in the editing van, it's really loud. Maybe they didn't catch it. Yeah, I can get that if the delay is pretty short. But a 2 hour delay, there really is not a good excuse for that, other than just negligence, and that's really not a good excuse, I guess.
right.
People are taking it well.
Well, so we're going to slide into that. So the reaction has been also the terrible part. Not to point fingers, but among a group of people, the elite Hollywood actors who try to be the most understanding, the most caring, the most loving when it comes to disabilities. I mean, he was invited there because of his disability.
Yeah.
Right.
Also tells you that most of it is posturing and
Yeah.
demonstration, and that they don't actually care or even know anything about Tourette's, because we
Right.
got a flood, not a joke, a flood of horrible reactions to what had happened. Let's talk about the
guy.
horrible reactions to the BAFTAs, shall we? Jamie Foxx claimed it was intentional. Fox was criticized for suggesting that Davidson meant to say the word. Medical experts and advocates noted that coprolalia, involuntary vocalization of slurs, is often triggered by the exact words a person is most anxious about saying, rather than reflecting their personal beliefs. Fox was having none of it and suggested that he's just a massive racist piece of shit, essentially.
Great.
It shows who's the massive racist right there.
Wendell Pierce, criticized by some for prioritizing the insult over the medical context, stating, "It doesn't matter the reasoning for the racist slur while demanding an immediate full-throated apology to the actors." He apologized. They're like, well, he should apologize. He apologized immediately. He felt really bad about it. And this is, see, that's what's so horrible about it. He got piled on with accusations and finger pointing for a disease that has already been a huge strain and despair in his life. Oh, here, let me read Jamie Foxx quoting. out of all the words you could have said, Tourette's makes you say that. Nah, he meant that shit.
Oh my god. Jamie,
Oh my
shut
God.
the fuck up and play the piano, you moron. Jesus Christ.
Charlemagne the
Does anyone know
God.
what the movie is even about? The whole thing.
No,
Like,
'cause
oh,
they
he
don't
got
know.
arrested for things he didn't mean. It's like, oh my gosh.
They
Dan
don't
got his
know
absolute
what it
ass
is.
beat.
They don't know. That's the stupid part. They
No.
don't know what Tourette's is. They don't. They just pile on, and then they're like, "Oh, disability. I feel bad." And then when something happens, they're like, "Nah, he meant it." They don't. None of them cared. Charlemagne the God accused of fueling misinformation by speculating on the Breakfast Club that somebody somewhere taught Davidson the language, implying the tick reflected social conditioning rather than random neurological misfire. Someone taught him that word? What? Rap music didn't infuse in him, or every movie someone had to
I'm
teach
sure
him that?
I'm sure he never listened to rap or anything, huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
This poor guy. Oh my gosh.
Both the BAFTA and BBC were slammed for what was called a throwaway apology that sugarcoated the slur as merely strong language, which critics felt was dismissive of the specific trauma the word carries for black people. Common takes on the internet was it was dehumanizing, and that Davidson should have been locked away, muzzled, or stayed at home.
Oh my
God.
gosh.
There were
Jesus.
suggestions of celebrities on the internet to say he should have been kept in a separate room. You mean
Oh.
segregated? Is that what
my
you're
God.
suggesting? And a hilarious turn of events, an
Yes,
individual
yes, we are.
by the Alan Cumming, by the way, addressed it very classily at the BAFTAs when he made a presentation. He went out and told everybody that you may have noticed strong language in the background there. This could be part of Tourette's for some people, and thank you for your understanding. He was very classy about it.
Wow.
Alan
Nice.
Cumming. Asked
I
everybody to
could
be
breathe.
respectful and that sort of thing. He then
Good for
later
him.
in the broadcast clarified to everybody Tourette's syndrome is a disability, and the tics you've heard tonight are involuntary, which means that the person who has Tourette's syndrome has no control over their language. We apologize if you were offended tonight. Just great guy.
Yeah.
And then we have Grace Randolph.
Oh.
Ross, let me read something from Grace Randolph.
Okay.
A tweet. Mr. Davidson shouldn't be bullied. A lot of you are acting as if not only can't control his offensive tics, but as if he has no idea he even has them. He does.
Yeah. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a movie.
Gets community noted. Tourette's a medical condition characterized by uncontrollable tics. He can't control it.
What?
Well, and a
Wow.
lot of
Great
people
trust.
crawling out of the woodwork claiming, well, he can control. He can't. The literal
No.
point of the disease is he cannot control this. And then confidently saying, well, he did it on purpose. He didn't. That's literally the point. He has no control over what's happening. Grace Randolph, Tourette's means no filter, which means this man thought it.
No, it's not. No,
That's
it's
not
not
how
how it
this
works.
Despicable. The BAFTAs are out here making fools of themselves in the entertainment industry. Grace Randolph,
Not the only ones.
I certainly want Mr. Davidson, who has Tourette's, to have a nice life, but that anyone would defend Jordan and Lindo going up in front of their peers in a professional setting on television and having to be called a racial slur is ridiculous. What do you mean defending? He has no control over what happens.
Yeah. What they're defending him from, Grace, is from morons like you. Inconsiderate, soulless morons like you. Who have no clue what the... I mean, by the way, the fact that this man went through so much and was there because they made a movie about him trying to find understanding and recognition of what he has, what his disability is. So much so that he got the absolute shit beat out of him. And by the way, pretty sure the main actor for that film won by the way,
Yes.
that night, which makes it even funnier to me. But you have all these smug, sanctimonious, soulless pieces of shit. Just well, how horrible, and just, I mean, he knew better. Bap, 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 bap. Shut up. You have no clue what you're talking about. And the fact that you would do that to a man who is there as an honor, right? Like, it's there to be like a pat on the back, a form of recognition, which is what we've always been told for years and years and years now, that we need to do for people with disabilities, for people that are, neurodivergent or whatever. Well, now that you have one right there, someone with this sort of a thing right there in front of you, you don't like it. It icks you out, huh? Shut up.
Well, not only that, but the movie was freaking about the neurological condition that he's suffering from. So obviously they didn't even bother. It got the award, but they didn't bother to even watch it.
Well, I mean, it's not the Oscars. I didn't have to
idea.
watch it, you know.
It's kind of disheartening to have the heartbreaking life he had to go through, and then have to go through everything again with harassment online. He couldn't get jobs because of his condition. He works as a janitor.
Jesus.
He is the sole reason why Tourette syndrome awareness in the UK exists. He is the big advocate for spreading information.
Hollywood, this was the chance to practice what you preach.
Yes.
Hollywood and your various leech hangers-on. And I think you failed.
Oh, this is a huge face palm right here.
I mean,
it's heartbreaking what...
I went to a school with a kid with Tourette's. And, I mean, I don't know how common that is, but in my school, they kind of taught us about it because he was there.
Wow.
No
and they're
choice.
like, look,
Jason,
we have this guy.
Let me at least intercede with a story of my own. I don't know if Silver's aware of this.
We have a family member.
Yeah, we had a family member. It's basically our parents' cousin who had Tourette syndrome.
Yep.
And it was so terrible for him. He got to the point he couldn't live with it and took his own life.
That's too
bad.
He's a really good guy.
And he was a really good guy. Tourette syndrome is a horrible condition to have to live with. And the lack of awareness or even willingness to understand. And then when people say, well, it's a medical condition, it's a neurological condition, to then crawl out and try and demonstrate how much of a social justice warrior you are, to try and drag this guy through the coals again because you're convinced that he said it on purpose and what a horrible piece of shit, and he meant it, and who taught him that word? He wouldn't have, it's in his head, somebody taught him that word, or he really meant it. And it's like, it shows your lack of understanding, but lack of compassion to somebody with this issue.
Mm-hmm.
People, I can't imagine the difficulty of living with this sort of thing, but then to drag him publicly through this, and with very famous people getting involved in their own way, and then trying to imply that he meant it, despite the fact that all medical evidence suggested that he did not mean anything. I don't know what to say. I want to be really angry, but it just makes me really sad. This is what results in our family member ending things the way that he did, is because he couldn't, not only could he not control it, but he couldn't live in the world with the situation he was in. You're never going to have a perfect world where everybody's understanding, but for people who act like being accepting and understanding of everybody's proclivities, and then being like, nah, forget this piece of shit, and then attack him over the internet. Like, he seemed distraught online about what had happened. And this is the life he lived with. He lost his father because of his condition. He couldn't get work because of this condition. And somebody finally recognizes his struggle and honors him, and then you're just like, well, screw this guy. I mean, it's just him going through the same horror his life has been through again. And it kind of comes home when we have a family member who went through this condition. And his end resulted in what it did. And it's just, it makes me sad. I'm really sad about all of this.
Yeah. I feel so bad for that guy. Oh my gosh.
Well, we already knew that Hollywood was a cesspool. This just confirms it.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ross had a lot of beef. Did you express all the beef you had?
Yeah, oh yeah. It's just infuriating. It's the most infuriating. I mean, literally, this was the test for how, open and caring you really were to practice what they preach, and they didn't. They didn't at all.
No, they didn't.
They completely fumbled. It's absolutely incredible. I mean, it just shows what absolute frauds and like 80% of those people are.
Yeah. Maybe we could find some news that will be more
Happy news.
more encouraging. You know what? I'm gonna set Xbox back. Ross, I want to talk about eBay because I've been hyping this up for Ross a little bit. So
I didn't even know it was about eBay.
It is about eBay. eBay is laying off about 800 people.
Oh no!
I've really poorly formatted this. I'm gonna scooch
every
it
website's
over.
different.
They all got to format it assily. Anyway, it looks like they're laying
That's interesting.
What's that?
That they're laying off 800 people, 800 roles.
About 6%.
And it's only
of the workforce.
6%. Yeah, that's still a massive company.
A lot of tech companies are going through a lot of these financial issues and stuff. What is not the fascinating part of this, but coincides around the same time as the last day or two, we got the word of settlement of a lawsuit. You might go, what lawsuit? Well, let me tell you a little story. So there were these people. Freaking go away, ad. Let me actually read the article. A Massachusetts couple has settled a lawsuit after eBay employees carried out a cyber stalking harassment campaign triggered by an online newsletter critical of the e-commerce company. The settlement, disclosed in federal court order filed Wednesday, February 25th, halts a trial set to begin next week over multi-million-dollar claims filed by David and Ina Steiner against eBay and 3 former executives. The terms of the settlement were not shared. The company declined to comment beyond the order that previously stated in court papers that it was committed to compensating the Steiners fairly and appropriately for the appalling contact they endured. The couple had been seeking millions in compensatory damages, plus $466 million in punitive damages. $466 million. According to the court filings, here's what we know about the lawsuit, Ross. The Steiners filed the lawsuit in Boston federal court in July 2021, accusing eBay and its employees of a coordinated effort to intimidate, threaten to kill, torture, terrorize, stalk, and silence them.
I beg your pardon?
By sending disturbing and threatening packages to their home, according to court documents. Hold on. The married couple runs E-Commerce Bites, an online newsletter that published coverage of eBay executives allegedly viewed as negative or critical in August 2019. The lawsuit claims that executive leaders directed at least 7 employees to stop the Steiners from further publishing, with 2 leaders allegedly telling them, I want to see ashes as long as it takes, whatever it takes.
What?
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
Oh.
Wait, the harassment ensued was described as horrific, vicious, and sickening conduct. It led to criminal charges against 6 former employees by the Massachusetts U.S. Attorney's Office in June 2020. A 7th employee was separately charged. People went to jail.
Oh my God.
Now you might ask, what are the specifics of what happened? Most of the defendants pled guilty to charges including conspiracy and cyberstalking and were sentenced to prison terms or home confinement. One executive described as the ringleader by the Department of Justice received 57 months in federal prison.
Jesus.
Employees sent a barrage of bizarre items to the couple's home, including live spiders, cockroaches, a bloody pig mask, a funeral wreath, a book entitled Grief Diary Surviving the Loss of a Spouse, addressed to David Steiner specifically, pornographic magazines addressed to Steiner and left at the neighbor's home.
Oh my God.
On top of that, there were apparently accusations of bugging their house.
I'm sorry. What?
These deliveries were accompanied by obscenity-filled graphic online messages, according to the lawsuit, eventually escalating to posting the Steiner's home address and death threats online, along with similar posts to Craigslist, inviting the public to the home for non-existent sex parties and yard sales.
God.
The stalking came to a head when it moved offline, according to a lawsuit of federal prosecutors. One employee was accused of driving more than 3,000 miles from California to Massachusetts to help follow the Steiners into a black van and other rental vehicles, circling their neighborhood and tailing them when they left the house.
Oh my God.
Oh my!
What's happening?
What the fuck? Oh my God. All right.
Ross,
Right, they're
so bizarre.
one more thing. At least 3 of the employees were also accused of attempting to break into their garage and install tracking devices on their vehicle.
Oh my God!
Rhett, there's
Yeah.
so much here.
I know.
I
know. Bloody
I-
pigs' faces?
All right, first of all, so about 7 employees, right? So there's a crew of 7.
Yeah.
Number one question: did they know about each other?
I don't know.
Was because
They
like
were all
can you
independently
imagine-
told to cause havoc.
Well,
at least
can you
the
Well,
dogs
this
imagine
of
was
like,
a
war.
coordinated effort, so I would assume that they were pooling resources and doing things together.
well, all right. I want you to imagine you work at eBay and you come home after a long day of harassing some poor old couple in Massachusetts horribly, viciously, and you come home, or maybe you went on a work trip and you had to tell I'm going on a work trip, honey, and your job was to menacingly stalk an old couple in Massachusetts, and you come home, oh honey, how was work? What do you say? What do you say? Yeah, well,
Going
I
to
was down
prison
at the
for 57 months.
I was down at the harassment factory today, honey. Hey, what do you?
I tried to break into an old couple's home to leave a tracking device on their car and got caught because they kind of said mean things about eBay online.
How long did they say this went on? I'm sorry. I was just so... It was like one hit after another. Body blow, body blow.
At least a year or so, which is a lot to happen
Dear-
in a year.
Yeah, dear God. Oh, these poor people.
And this was so bad that it's not like these people were just suing eBay. The federal government got involved.
Yeah, you can't use the post office for certain things. They get real mad about it.
Coordinated effort to intimidate, threaten to kill, torture, terrorize, and stalk in silence.
My God.
Yeah, these people did not think this through.
Next time you better think carefully before you talk about eBay.
Mailing them live spiders, cockroaches, a bloody pig mask, a funeral wreath, a book about grief diary surviving the loss of a spouse, implying they're going to kill one of them.
Oh gosh.
Pornographic magazines addressed to David Steiner and left at the neighbor's house to make it seem like he's a perv. Leaving stuff online, telling them their home address and to show up at their house for non-existent sex parties.
Yeah,
Dear God. Hey, man, I'm here for the orgy. Where's it at?
Doxing, graphic online messages, escalating to death threats, going to their house and stalking them for saying mean things about eBay.
They'll think twice, Rhett. They'll think
Trying to
twice.
break into their garage to put tracking devices on their vehicles.
Wait, so all they did was make a newsletter.
Yeah.
About how much eBay sucks.
Oh,
Can you believe it?
You know
My
what?
God.
They certainly
How
suck.
dare they? How dare they?
Because when I
We're gonna
heard
prove them
Post something
right.
online that I don't like.
when I heard
This is the ultimate cancellation.
millions in compensatory damages plus 466 million in punitive, and I was like, that's a lot of money. And I'm like, that's not enough money.
That's
oh
not
my
enough
gosh.
money.
The quote of in court documents of a CEO telling another executive to take her down is, oh my gosh.
I want to see ashes as long as it takes, whatever it takes.
Dear God.
Burn them to the ground. What,
I mean,
what evil CEOs are giving these orders out?
Rhett, do you remember that movie, The Untouchables?
Yes.
I want them dead. I want their families dead. I want their house burned to the ground.
What are you
Just
prepared to
lose your mind.
do?
The Chicago way.
This is the Chicago way, but instead it's somebody with a minor newsletter and eBay.
If they write a bad newsletter about us, you put one of theirs in the morgue.
You remember that Netflix documentary of the true story of like people moved into a house, you know, it was like brand new. They go in and they start getting like weird mail and a bunch of weird stuff starts happening. This is like that, except it's from eBay.
Yes, it was from eBay.
eBay's in the house with us.
This is the next blockbuster coming from Paramount.
Oh heck yeah.
You know what's you know what is this might sound sexist, but it's not surprising. 3 of the 4 executives were women.
Wow.
I'll be honest, that is very surprising to me. This feels like psychotic, coked
Male.
out. business.
It feels like psychotic male, like Al Capone
Yeah.
stuff. No, it is
Yeah.
Stephanie, Brian, Stephanie, and Veronica.
Stephanie, and Veronica. Dear God. Well, that
Oh my
makes more
gosh.
sense now.
Never trust a Stephanie.
Wonder it was that bad.
All manager level employees except for Veronica were also federally charged. I guess there were also executives. Let's see. James Ball was, okay, Devin Wenig. Oh, okay, so there were people above that. But there were Stephanies. Yeah, so that there were higher up executives. See, criminally charged with 6 felony offenses, including stalking, evidence tampering, agreeing to pay $3 million penalty. The company engaged in absolutely horrific criminal conduct. The company's employees and contractors involved in the campaign put the victims through pure hell in a petrifying campaign aimed at silencing and their reporting and protecting the eBay brand.
Oh my God. We got to protect the brand. I mean, this definitely feels like somebody had like a cocaine drawer. You know what I mean?
Someone's doing blow and being like, go get him.
Get rid of that newsletter. Get rid of.
Definitely seems an out of proportion response.
Well, what do you
think,
mean?
Jason?
I think they besmirched
I mean-
the good name of eBay, and I think they deserve to have their house burned down.
Jason's saying crazy things now.
I know. The thing is that you gotta imagine that there's more than just this old this old couple that are bad mouthing eBay on the internet. Even if it's just a troll who actually likes eBay, but has to put out there to somebody else, nah, eBay sucks. You'd think that there's probably a Reddit, whatever they call them, like a subreddit, where it's just like eBay sucks.
What? Where? Tell me where that is. You write that website down right now.
We're going to your house.
I need to find out who these people are.
I'm sending you
Get the people on it.
cockroaches.
God damn it! They did what?
I'm gonna start doing this to Silver. I'm gonna call your phone and you'll just hear me breathing, but you'll know it's me because you know my number.
Yeah, it's just like the Rhett is calling. I'm like, oh, that's weird. Let's see. It's just heavy breathing on the other end. I'm like, buddy, you okay?
Rhett's phone budget's gonna go
I'm gonna
crazy.
shut you down.
So
You just start sending
ridiculous
silver
why
lives
they would single out
spiders.
this couple when I'm sure there are hundreds of people at least that hate eBay.
Well, and
You keep talking about that. Who are they? Tell me.
I don't
who
know
they
what
are.
they said in their newsletter, which I can't imagine is extreme enough to justify this response.
They
But
don't look
if
the
it's a
type.
newsletter, I guarantee you I've said just as bad things about eBay.
More recently, even.
Weird Al has an eBay song where he calls it a worldwide garage sale. I mean,
What?
I love
and they
this
didn't go after
story.
him.
It is. I can't imagine anything being more insane for the rest of the year. I'm
Do
gonna
you
be
see why
honest.
I found that story? And I was
Paramount
like,
bought,
I can't tell you, Ross,
Warner.
yet. I can't.
Yeah, no, you couldn't tell me. Absolutely not.
It would ruin it.
No, yes. Oh my god.
That's a good palate cleanser after the horror that is the Tourette's.
Well, I mean, not for those people, but for us, it was pretty good, you know.
Yeah, well, they're going to get paid, so
Hey.
he is still going to have Tourette's and be treated horribly the rest of his life.
Oh.
Well, he can sue some of them. Couldn't have happened to nicer people.
All right, everybody. So we had our Fallout drama with Xbox recently, where it looks like Xbox is in trouble
What? Oh.
financially.
Really?
Things ain't going well, and every website is freaking formatted differently.
No.
Professional.
Professional.
So we got something interesting this week. Seamus, I don't know. Blackley,
Seamus.
one of the creators of Xbox, he believes that the recent shakeup with the heads of Xbox is basically the beginning of the end for
Yeah.
Microsoft's gaming business. According to him, because of this shift, they're going to essentially start to sunset Xbox.
Oh.
That's kind of what we were talking
Oh my
about
God.
last time.
Well, I don't think
Well-
this is going to be the last generation, Jason. That's not what I suggested.
I'm not saying that it's the last generation.
Well, he is
We
saying
were
it's the
talking
last
about them-
generation.
Oh, that's
We were
there's
talking
no
about
way.
them basically phasing out Xbox.
I didn't think that's phasing out as in, look, worst case scenario from my perspective looking at it is they're going to turn it into some sort of publishing brand that's on computer and all these other things, but console isn't going to be a thing. He thinks they're pulling
Right.
out of Microsoft Gaming entirely.
Everything.
That they're just going to
Oh my-
sunset the brand.
I could.
Maybe the look. Like I mean, I think we said this last week. You know, because you guarantee they already have the next console in the works already. I mean, maybe they don't. Who knows? I mean, I don't know that. There's just the rumor, right? Because that's typical.
Yeah.
That's pretty typical. I mean, if they just cut all that loose now, that would be nuts. I mean, maybe they'd save money. I don't even know. Who knows how bad the financials really are? But I mean, so he's implying Microsoft's just going to get out of gaming entirely, or just the Xbox brand?
He says they don't say that, but that's what's happening. He went on to say, "I expect that the new CEO, Asa Sharma, her job is going to be as a palliative care doctor who slides Xbox gently into the night."
So, I mean, it here's the thing. This is just what he's saying, you know, and he's not saying he heard it from anybody inside per se, right? Or like, he's not naming names. It's just very rumor filled. But like, it's not outside the realm of reality, but I mean that quick, I don't know. I think there's one more generation.
Well,
'Cause they're gonna
he
try
said
and-
something that was interesting, so let me read. Part of the problem here, according to Blackley, is that Microsoft head honcho Satya Nadella believes that AI will subsume games, like it will subsume everything. And that spells the end for traditional video game business, much of which Microsoft owns. So in that vein, I mean, we have had a lot of companies go hard down the AI route and then have to pull back because it hasn't produced the returns that they all thought it was going to. And this might be AI motivated individuals in Microsoft thinking eventually this is all going to go away and maybe getting way ahead of themselves as opposed to the productivity that's going to result from AI. And that it's going to replace everything. And maybe they're trying to burn everything down way before it's necessary. Even if AI will replace gaming, so to speak.
Yeah.
Because we got response from IBM where they were going to start laying off a bunch of staff with AI and stuff. And at some point, they pulled back on that and they were going to keep their staff because they're like, AI is not returning the investment we thought it was going to. It's not replacing jobs as much as we thought it was going to. And it seems like Microsoft might actually be thinking, well, AI is going to replace all this stuff, so this is going to be the last gen. And see, from that vein, I can see that as a possibility. Not, well, Xbox is losing money, so screw it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That does make more sense.
Yes.
These are definitely not the actions of a company that is confident in the brand.
Oh no! Look, if Xbox had won this generation, I mean, I don't think this would be happening. Not like this. You know what I mean? Like there would be like, well, we're exploring AI, we're doing, but there would not be reports of like, yeah, they're gonna kill. Like no, it would be more like, well, how can we integrate AI? Which they're kind of saying, but like, had Xbox definitively won this generation, I don't think these kind of conversations would be had.
No. But, I mean, think about it. Putting in a lady that's from their AI division, in charge of Xbox.
With no experience of gaming.
Oh, that doesn't matter. Come on now. It's just games.
But as opposed to, well, we didn't win this generation, and we've been declining sales with our poor decisions by increasing the price of everything lately. We're just going to bail from it. And it's like, that seems really harsh, burn the bridge sort of strategy. That doesn't seem likely. Like, they could run profitable in third place for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't seem intent on... like, all it takes is one banger console or enough... See, that's the funny thing. PS5 hasn't had so many banger first-party IPs that... it clinched this victory. If Microsoft had huge, like 2 or 3 huge games to justify moving over to Microsoft, they could have easily taken control of this gen. But they didn't. Because PlayStation's bangers weren't even big enough to be undefeatable, so to speak.
Well,
yeah,
we talked about that last week where basically the PS5 users finally surpassed the PS4 users.
Yeah, on PSN. Yeah.
I mean, that's not a winning strategy for your next gen console.
Well, it's a really good sign 5.5 years into the next generation of consoles. That's not a bad sign, is it?
It's worth pointing out that Blackley's comments go against the statements released by Microsoft in its announcement of the Xbox shakeup. Sharma has promised to deliver the return of Xbox, and as a part of that has vowed to re-engage with core Xbox fans. There was even a promise to commit to console, which is certainly a crowd-pleasing comment at the time, when so many Xbox fans feel disenfranchised with Microsoft's shifting strategy. As for Satya Nadella, he has said he was long on gaming and its role at the center of our consumer ambition, which doesn't sound like Xbox is sunsetting anytime soon. So this is really just a former Xbox creator looking at being like, well, they're just going to burn Xbox. And if you look abstractly from outside the company and you go, well, they're doing badly, they're increasing the price of everything, Game Pass has gone up, sales are down 30% year over year, like you might go, oh, well, is this the end of Xbox? If they pull off this level of success again next gen, maybe. But I still think we see another console out of them.
It would be that would be very surprising if they didn't.
Yes.
I mean, I could see that being the Steam / Game Pass console. I could see that. Like, whatever, fine. It's not just a straight up Xbox, but like, I
streaming
just,
box or something.
Yeah, but just straight up nothing. That would be incredibly surprising.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I would be shocked. Shocked, I say.
Like I said, these don't seem to be the actions of somebody that's confident in their brand. So I could see why somebody would look at this and say, it seems like they're getting rid of it.
Well, I went over the timeline last week on purpose. They made weird, unreasonable demands of profit of 30%, then increased the price of the console and Game Pass, which resulted in people just abandoning buying it overall, which resulted in the 30% decline of sales of the console. They didn't have banger first-party stuff. I mean, all of these can be explained by unreasonable expectations, not having big first-party IPs to justify the console purchase, and a lot of other things. Not we're setting the building on fire. Now, it doesn't look good.
No.
At all.
Yeah, it's
but
not,
their actions make sense where it's like, well, I want 30% profit. And it's like, really?
Oh, on what planet?
Apparently, Bloodborne Remake was reportedly pitched by Bluepoint and accepted by Sony, but From Software turned it down. And people have been begging for a Bloodborne remake or a Bloodborne 2. Like that, if anything, that's everybody's been hyped up and rumoring forever, it's that.
Mm-hmm.
And From Software is just not interested.
Interesting.
So weird.
Is there a reason why they wouldn't be interested? I understand why there might not be interest in doing a remake of Bloodborne. But it's been a long time and we haven't gotten a Bloodborne 2, which seems really odd. With as well as Bloodborne was received.
You're making this call from a consumer standpoint or even a corporate standpoint of this would earn a lot of money. Miyazaki's going to make whatever is going to excite him artistically.
Kind of an auteur.
Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, maybe they said what they wanted to say with it and they have nothing else. I mean...
Maybe he's like, it's a rounded story. Why revisit the world? If you play one of the endings, you turn into a space god.
Turn into a squid.
Well, a nascent space god, a nascent Cthulhu, if you will.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody's like, well, I desperately want a Bloodborne 2, and Miyazaki's like, I've moved on, man. I've moved on to Elden Ring and other stuff.
George R. R. Martin's involved. Surely it'll be written soon. Uh-oh.
The success of From Software, the success of From Software, a lot of it is all Miyazaki on his shoulders.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
I remember goofy stories of him. He desperately, the Praise the Sun thing where you put your palms down and you raise your arms. He wanted to put that as a gesture in Demon Souls, and the executives turned him down. Even though he went into their office and to demonstrate what it looked like, he would do it in front of them. And they were like, no. So for Dark Souls, he just snuck it in.
I'm not going to say anything.
And Dark Souls was a sleeper hit. It didn't hit really hard early on.
No,
it snuck in and then suddenly became this cult thing. And suddenly everybody was like, I need everything Dark Souls all of the time.
Praise the sun.
Praise the sun. So I mean, he's going to do what he wants to. He made his Elden Ring and he had fun, and they're like, "What about Elden Ring 2?" And he's probably like, "No, no interest." So I mean, would it be a financially good idea? Yes. Would it be? Do consumers want it desperately? Yes. Well, Miyazaki doesn't give a shit, so whatever.
By the time he retires, they're not going to want to revisit.
Maybe. Apparently, Avengers Doomsday gets shut out of the IMAX release. That's right. Doomsday wanted to launch on IMAX, but they instead have gone with Dune Part 3
Oh,
because they're both competing and releasing around the same time.
that seems. That's a bold choice.
The power of Marvel is not what it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that a few years ago, even? Jesus.
No.
It's interesting that they're expecting Dune 3 to do so much better over Marvel, that's the way they're going.
Dune's been earning
Kinda-
money. Marvel hasn't.
Yeah. Right. That's why it's interesting.
Silver, do you remember disgraced actor Jonathan Majors?
Hold on. I bet I'll know his face.
Kang from
What?
Loki.
She doesn't
Kang the
care.
Conqueror from the Loki show.
She never watched
this
Loki.
guy. Yes, I know this guy.
Anyway, the really shitty villain in the Ant-Man. He was also in a
Yeah,
World
him
War
too.
II movie. He's been in other things. Anyway, he went to prison. Well, he was
Oh.
convicted for punching his girlfriend, essentially. And they dropped him
Okay.
as the main villain. He's going to be the new Thanos. And there was a lot of criticism that he sucks. I thought he was fine. I didn't think he was as engaging as Thanos, but it's hard to sell a big overarching villain of this new generation when he keeps losing. And they're like, well, there are different versions of him. It's like, well, that's not scary. Stop having him lose all the time. So
Yeah.
they took his status away and he lost everything and everybody hates him. In a shocking, he's also from Creed 3. In a shocking, that's why I was so weirded out by you saying the Loki show. It's like, who gives a shit about the Loki show? Anyway.
Me.
In a shocking turn of events, he's coming back for a new film. And in confusing
Wow.
turn of events is going to be a Daily Wire film produced
That
by
is
Ben
weird.
Shapiro.
Excuse me?
That's super weird.
That's why I was like, huh? Now,
Yeah.
they notoriously grabbed a hold of Gina Carano immediately after her cancellation because they're like, we don't agree with canceling people. And they made a movie with her. And it was this big sort of PR thing. I guess in a way, Jonathan Majors was canceled.
should have been
for
canceled, though.
actually hitting his girlfriend. Now, he did pay for his crime and was committed.
True.
Convicted. How long are we expected to drag somebody out because they did something I don't agree with, so they're forever being burned at the stake, I guess? Like, to some degree, I'm not super angry if he moves on. Like, I mean, as long as he paid for it, if he moves on and does movies and eventually regains trust, yeah, that's one thing. I mean, I love Stone Cold Steve Austin, and he definitely beat his wife.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
So maybe it's just weird. Daily Wire is the one that's like, we're going to do a movie with, and I know Ben Shapiro did a whole episode where he talked about it. I have not watched that to understand their reasoning behind, hey, let's grab up that disgraced guy who beat his girlfriend, get him in a picture. Is he doing the Hollywood Jew thing where he's like, get him in my picture? Anyway, I found that entertaining. Let's move on. Here's a fun story I was telling Ross about. So, a store that sells Pokemon cards and memorabilia and everything had a break-in During a Pokemon event in the middle of the day,
Oh my
masked
God.
individuals entered the store during a community event and made off with more than $100,000 in merchandise, including trading cards and other collectibles. This happened in January. You might go, oh, interesting. Well, Nintendo heard about this, and because of the popularity of what had happened, learned that their store called the Poke Court decided it was violating their copyright and made them change their store name to the Trainer Court. So essentially, they got robbed of $100,000, and Nintendo learned about it because of the story and made them. It basically did a copyright infringement thing.
This is like you get your ass beat in the street and you're like spitting out your teeth and like blood, and then a cop walks up and gives you like a ticket for littering. It's like, thanks,
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You left your teeth everywhere. That's against the law.
It's against the law. Wow, good job, Nintendo. You're doing a lot for your image. I'm really happy for you.
Well, I told you about that internet joke where it was like a young Indian boy made a Nintendo Switch out of cardboard because he always wanted one, but just, they can't afford it. And it became viral. Everybody on the internet was talking about this poor Indian kid. And it was a picture of him holding a cardboard Switch. And the CEO of Nintendo found out and flew down to India to meet with the child and serve him a cease and desist letter for violating their copyright. It's like, yeah, Nintendo's very litigious. Yeah. Moving on. Here's a fun one, Ross. There's a new California law that says all operating systems, including Linux, need to have some form of age verification at account setup.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Oh my
right. In
God.
order to use your computer, you have to have a valid ID.
Okay.
In California. This is a guy who wants to be your
California
president, by the way.
Oh gosh.
What a state, huh? Really good things happening
Yeah.
over there.
Hey, Ross, there was a really funny story recently about how the Writers Guild of America, their employees also have a union who went on strike.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, they have an award show, and they're canceling the award show because their employees are striking. Hilariously, they talked about it like if they hold the award show, they would have to hire other people, which would be essentially hiring scabs to cross the picket line to hold an award show when their staff union is mounting a strike. I love this story. It's union
Oh my
inception.
God. Well, can't I just do it? Well, what are you, a scab? Well, no, but it's our award show. Yeah, but you don't do that work normally. Oh. Okay.
I hate unions so much.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it in this case.
For all of you that are worried about the case of AI, well, Val Kilmer's family gave their approval to use his likeness to recreate him for a film in AI.
Oh.
Thanks.
Look forward to
I-
Val Kilmer showing up in your future shit film.
Hey,
Yeah, I mean,
you couldn't wait
always
like
knew
a
that was
generation? No, you had to do it just... He hadn't been dead that long.
Let us miss him. But the family might just want the money. They're like, it doesn't matter. He's gone.
How much money do they need? Oh my God, whatever.
More.
Uh,
It's never enough. Exciting things. I'm going to end with two things. And I don't, let me find that. I responded to an individual that left a comment on our podcast, and I would like to at least bring it up here to politely respond to his comment or her comment, or I don't know who you are. So someone left a comment on one of the videos. It was one of the videos Jason put together about D&D. When we were talking about the downfall of D&D and everybody, it's not doing well and they're going to bring back people. Anyway, this individual says, here's the thing, my dudes. The LGBTQ plus community, or the so-called woke mob, I don't think we ever used the term woke mob, has
No, I don't think
existed
so.
for centuries. Longer? Well, it depends. Like, gay people have been around forever?
Yeah.
For thousands of years? As opposed to a
Yeah.
community, that's more of a modern affectation.
Yeah.
Because, like, people in Greek society, it wasn't really a community thing. They were just kind of there.
Yeah. Same with the Romans.
Well, it wasn't even so much as acceptance in the Greek community. It had more to do with, like, you were the masculine or the feminine role, as opposed to, it's like, well, I'm gay. And it identity wasn't really a thing. There was no gay identity thing, really, in
No,
Greece.
that's
in
a
ancient Greece.
much more modern.
This is a modern
invention.
affectation. So you're wrong in your timetables there, sir. There have been gay, bisexuals, lesbians, and so on for a very long time. Well, as a history major, what do you mean by very long time? Because people are talking about vintage, like stuff came from the 80s, and it's like, ugh. And D&D was a method for them to both express themselves and learn to become proud of who they are. No one says you couldn't do that.
And I would push back on that and say that for the history of D&D, no,
Well,
that's not what it was about.
it's completely beside the point. No one gives a shit if that's what you can play D&D in any way you want to.
Yeah, true.
The fact that they're using it as a tool to be proud of themselves, I don't, whatever. Like, fine,
Yeah. Who cares?
fine. I mean, I could write a D&D campaign that's all about serving Christ. It's not really that relevant. D&D is kind of a do whatever you want to. It's the framework for the storytelling.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with you expressing your identity or being obsessed with this sort of thing. It's fine. Do whatever you want. Fine. Anyway, it goes on to say this happened long before Hasbro and Wizards forced the ideology into the franchise. First of all, I would say Hasbro and Wizards have always been shitty companies, but they didn't really force it. It was aggressive activists making expectations upon them to force us. My issue had nothing to do with, and I didn't really listen to the podcast, so if I'm contradicting myself, I apologize. My issue has nothing to do with whether or not gay people are allowed to play D&D, which they're more than welcome to do. My issue had everything to do with them crafting D&D around catering to the LGBTQ plus community. That really was all it was. It was orcs were bad guys, and now it's like, well, yeah, but now, they're misunderstood. And it's like, well, then what happened to fantasy D&D? You can play it any way you want to, and no one's bothered. And in my response, and I was like, no one's trying to stop you from playing the game the way you want to play it. I think the grievance
impossible.
was them changing the game in order to cater. That's where the grievance was. And it looks like it hasn't been financially successful decision making in that vein. That doing that hasn't produced good returns because people are leaving the company because they don't like being preached to or talked down to. No one's upset that you're gay and proud and playing D&D. What they're upset is D&D is making a big deal about being gay and proud and the rules.
Yeah.
That's where I had a problem with it. Anyway, to read the final sentence here, essentially. So at the end of the day, whatever changes might come to D&D won't stop us fans from playing however we please. No one cares. You're more than welcome to do that. No one's trying to stop you. No one's trying to stop you.
No. And again, it would be impossible to. I mean, and I think we've said this in the past, but D&D is at the point now where, maybe the first couple of times people play D&D, they'll go by the actual rule set, whether it's 3rd edition, 5th, whatever.
Right.
But it's at the point now where most people, after a little while, once they know kind of how the game works, they get their own rule set going pretty quickly. I mean, it's a very easy game to do that with. So, I mean, the fact, you can play whatever campaign you want. People don't care. People can't stop you. It's impossible. I mean, so whether or not it's it's an official part of the rules or the story or whatever, you can do whatever you want with it.
Or
It's
the
part of the great
branding.
thing about D&D. Mm-hmm.
And my comment as well was, I don't even really care if it goes full gay. Just go fully gay. All that means is I'm less interested in D&D. And a lot of these people seem to look at things through a prism of it's all about me and what I want out of it. And what you do is then chase everyone else away from participating in that. You make it more about you, and then it's like, well, it's about me. And then suddenly all these people who used to be into it, now that it's about the LGBTQ community, are now just like, well, I'm no longer interested. And then they just leave. And guess what's happening? D&D is doing poorly financially. I would prefer that we all find a way to enjoy something together without trying to make it about our individual proclivities or political ideologies or sexual orientations or whatever it happens to be. How come we can't just have a fantasy universe that's just a fantasy universe and doesn't have to involve modern day politics? And then if you do that, that's you. You go for it. But when it's inserted into the branding, into the advertising, into the books, into the lore, then it's like, well, we're now declaring a ideological, political perspective and side. And now we're just going to opt out of participating. I just actively go, well, I'm just not interested anymore. And Dungeons and Dragons, I'll go play 3rd edition. I'll be fine. I don't have to buy any of your new crap. And this is what has happened with brand after brand after brand of people leaving because they've been catering to other communities that really aren't your majority communities. Go ahead. No one's stopping you. I'm more than happy that you're going to be proud and do D&D as gay characters. No one's upset. You're acting like a weird victim that somehow, because we disapprove of the brand direction, that we're trying to stop you from enjoying D&D. No one's trying to stop you, dude. Do what you're going to do.
And the reality is, like, I guess we disapprove of some of the brand direction, but it's like a lot of times it's not even that. We're just reporting on it. We're just talking about it. Like,
yeah,
hey,
more or less, that's what we do. We usually try not to editorialize too hard. But...
No, I mean, unless it's something really egregious or something we super care about, which I don't think D&D is that for either of us. That's either the case for us at this point with D&D. I've never been a big D&D guy. You guys more so than me.
But like me originally, I played a lot back in the day when I was younger, and then I kind of dragged other people into it later on in life.
Mm. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm just, hey, I think maybe that's a bad idea, and it turns out, well, if you look at the numbers, it might have been a bad idea.
Yeah.
But hey, whatever.
Yeah.
Enjoy your
something
D&D.
that we've addressed many times about the whole, catering to a very, very tiny community as opposed to trying to satisfy your core constituents makes for a very bad strategy when it comes to having people pay for your content, because you're expecting this very minor community to make up for the loss that you're going to get from everybody else that's leaving because of the changes that you've made.
I don't think they think,
it just
think
doesn't
about
happen
it in those terms.
No, they don't. They think about it in terms of you're a captive audience. Anything we do, you'll be there. You'll be loyal. But that's never been the case.
Anyway, I don't want to belabor it. I appreciate the comment and you expressing your opinion, and you're more than welcome to do so. I just want to respond of like, I don't think we really care, because this individual implied it's like, well, you can't stop us. And I was like, no one's trying to stop you, dude. Gay up your D&D. Go for it. Go for it.
Play it as gay as you want, baby.
It was just like, yeah, fine. It's super fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's really not that big a deal.
Despite this, I want to end this day in some interesting conversation. The Olympics ended, Ross.
They did, yes.
Yeah.
Quite the note.
In a strange turn of events, America and Canada ended up in the gold match for hockey. And it was super exciting. It's like, oh, America and Canada, we're going to have a big match. And they had a big match. And for the first time since 1980, America won the gold. Now, that's super exciting from the nationalistic, hey, patriotic, it's super exciting. Hey, America won. That's really awesome. Well, there's a lot more context than simply, hey, it's an exciting match, our country won. First of all, Canada built up to this match being super condescending. Like, incredibly douchey on their part. Countless podcasts implying that America doesn't have a chance. They treated this gold medal match as giving a thumbing to Trump. Their prime minister had a video of, when you win, this will help unite Canada, like implying it was an inevitability. Justin Trudeau made tweets talking about how this is a way we can get back at America and Trump or whatever. There was a huge amount of arrogance on the Canadian side. Absurd. Everybody talks about how Canada's super nice. I've never, ever found that to be true. I've constantly found Canada to be massive pieces of shit. Just douchey as all hell. They are. They just are. I don't know why they get this reputation for being nice. Hey, I don't like your president and the current political turmoil. We're going to boo you during your national anthem, causing fist fights. Good job, Canada. So there was a lot of ego building up to this match. And a shocking turn of events. America wins. Now, I don't know. It's been a long time since America won, and some of the greatest hockey players of all time were on the Canadian team. Just amazing players. America wanted it more. If you saw them in the locker room, they were hyped. They were. The effort and the desire was strong on the American team. And the resulting... I
wonder if that's Canada's fault.
Well, the resulting fallout has been fascinating, to say the least. Canada has been freaking out, needless to say, over the loss to America. They've been angry. They've been calling for rematches. They have been saying the better team lost. That's objectively speaking, Canada's just a better team. And I was like, well, you know how you find out who's the better team? The one who wins. Like, I guess that's how you find out. Which team has the gold
medal there, pal?
Who's the better team? Which is why they're calling for rematches. Let's do a best 4 out of 7 to find out. It's like, what? So we're just going to redo until you're satisfied that you're a better team, and you Canada. To be fair to the situation, Canada put a lot of their national pride on them winning gold in hockey, and this really hurt them, their personal pride. There are people who are still salty, claiming they didn't even really lose, that the only reason why they lost is because Hallebuck is because of our goalie, because he's amazing. They had a huge amount of shots against our goalie compared to us against them. What was it, like 40 shots against our goalie compared to our 20 or something against theirs?
Yeah, like 28, 26, something like that, yeah.
And it's like, well, look, we had control most of the time and we had more shots. And it's like, yeah, and you also failed more shots, is what that tells me. The fallout has been absurd. Like, anger and weeping and recontextualizing and constantly like going on there, well, we're the better team anyway. It's like the cope is weird. And you know what's even funnier? Their anger has resulted in them sitting there going, well, the worst part isn't that we lost, is the worst part is that we're going to be angry about this for years, and America's going to move on in 2 weeks. Which is true. You're going to be salty forever. And we are going to be like, whatever, we're moving on to baseball, losers. I would hope that we would have a polite conversation. We could have fun and rivalries and that sort of thing. But the fact that they lost having won for 50 years and are so salty about this really tells you 3-on-3 isn't real hockey. 3-on-3 isn't real hockey. Well, you won in a 3-on-3 previously in the tournament, so did you not legitimately win that match?
Apparently not.
Because when it goes to
By their own
overtime,
admission.
it goes to 3-on-3, and that's not what the NHL does. And it's like, well, this isn't the NHL. This is the Olympics. The rules were slightly different. Oh, well, the refs cheated us. This is the conversation. Look, I don't want to be belligerent towards the Canadians, but you guys have been shitlords building up to this, and you're shitlords after it. And the cope is absurd. The angry, bitter, like, well, we didn't really lose. We didn't lose. It was your goalie. We didn't lose. Oh, we had a better team. Our team was better. Well, clearly it wasn't, or otherwise you would have won. And you know what? The same point in the 1980 Olympics, the Miracle on Ice, Russia at that time was an amazing team, but we don't have to beat them 20 times in a row. We just have to win once. And they trained a team to beat Russia. And guess what? Apparently, according to our coach for the Olympics this time, he built a team specifically around beating Canada. And guess what? It looks like it succeeded. So it has more to do than just your star players or everybody being better. Our strategy ended up beating your strategy because we don't have to play 20 games. We just needed to win one. And there you are. Ross, you been happy with the cope with Canada?
Oh, it's very funny. Well, the thing is that cracks me up about that. Dude, it's just the Olympics. I get there's a lot of national pride. You still won silver. That's not nothing, by the way.
I like the sad when they won silver, them walking by and giving them little plushies. These big, burly, like, hockey players just looking all beaten and ornery about being given a plushie doll for winning silver play.
It's just so baffling. Look, it's always fun and exciting to win gold and things, especially when they are kind of the national sport, right? Or something that traditionally we're very good in, or, so I get it. I get where Canada, I get, like, oh man, we lost. But how can you take it more than that? Stop conflating politics with this shit. It's so dumb. It's so cringy.
And
it's
your
ridiculous.
And,
Yeah, especially when, like, because they go, well, it's our sport, bud. And it's like, sure, most of the money of that sport's made in the United States. You know that, right? Like,
they haven't won a Stanley Cup in decades.
Yeah, like, I don't... Like, there's Americans on Canadian teams right now.
Well,
and some of those are on Team USA going back to their home team, which is Canadian teams.
Well, see, Ross, here's what's so shitty about that. One of the guys on the USA team went back to the team that they play for in Toronto and got booed by Toronto on the team he plays for.
Oh my gosh.
Well, like, this is how shitty Canada is. They boo their own player because they can't let it go. What a bunch of a-holes.
And if they keep that up, like, they're going to have a hard time signing American players. Because you're not going if a player's good enough to go to on the national team to go to play in the Olympics, they're going to go play. I mean, that's just the reality. Why wouldn't you? It's a once-in-a-lifetime kind of thing. So if it's I don't want my life to be a living hell, especially because they might have a family and a house, and, like, they have to live in this city. It's Say, well, I don't want to deal with it. I'm not going to go to Canada. I'll wait till a U.S. team signs me, makes me an offer. So they don't want to go down this route. I mean, Philly has been. It's an aside in a different sport, but Philly, fuck any sport they've been involved in, has been renowned for this kind of shit, where people will just leave. Like I can't remember what his name was. He's a baseball player where he said, "I'll play first base, outfield, shortstop, anything, but play in Philly." Like, if you treat your players like crap, they're gonna leave, and so don't do that. Don't start down that path because, yes, Canada is big into hockey. Hockey is Canada's thing, but the most of the league and most of the money ain't in Canada. So don't try that. It's very foolish.
And in fact, a lot of your attention that hockey gets would not be a thing unless America was involved.
No, absolutely not. And it's funny because there's been, I think it was the previous Winter Olympics from this one. If you notice, the men's medal podium looks very different than the one even before that, or of course this one, because the NHL had to make up so many games from COVID that the time they originally had scheduled to just be the Olympic time, they're like, no, we got to make up a ton of games. You can't go. So then you had like Finland and Germany on the podium, and the Czech Republic, and it's like, yeah, well, see, so what? Canada didn't have enough non-NHL players. I thought this was your sport, bud. Like, well, yeah, of course
they're
not.
supposed to be amateurs, aren't they?
They were.
Well, that's old.
It's not
though.
the case anymore.
That's so old. It's like
I know.
That's like 50 years
I know.
old.
'Cause obviously, they've been doing this for years. I mean, the Dream Team from the U.S. with the basketball stuff.
Yeah, they quit doing that because they found out all the communists, they weren't professional. They had jobs in the military, and it turns out that job was to play basketball or hockey or whatever. So, because it turns out it was a bunch of bullshit. Everyone was cheating the system.
Yeah, I know. Unfortunately,
It's just really stupid. Like, why? Can't you just be? See, that's the funny thing. They've attached this so much to politics. We're talking about this because it's a pop culture podcast, and this is a big event. But there were left wing in this country poo-pooing and getting upset that America won, as if America winning in hockey somehow boosts Donald Trump and MAGA. And it's like,
Only
that
if you let it.
it's
No.
all tied back to Donald Trump.
Can't you
It
just
was
be
his-
proud of your own country winning a game? Do you have to imply what's like, well, because Trump's in charge, this makes it really shitty and terrible? It's really is this how you're going to interpret it, as opposed to, yay, our team won? Instead, everything's an ideological, political play. Everything's trying to make America seem worse when Trump's in charge. And then if this was
Absolutely.
Obama in charge, we would all be praising it. See, that's what's so stupid about this sort of politics. It's like, I guarantee you, if we won when Obama was in charge, the right wing would probably still be proud of their country and their win.
Oh, they'd be stoked. There might be some lunatics that would be annoyed, but it would be, I would imagine. I don't remember that kind of shit happening during the Obama years, where just mass of the right wing were mad. It's ridiculous.
Mad about America being successful at something.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's not necessarily that many people right now, but it's still more than you'd think. It's ridiculous.
I just, if you weren't so bitchy before the Olympics, it wouldn't have hurt so much when you lost. And you know what?
Get dunked on, nerds.
Maybe this will create a future where we trade back and forth on Olympic gold, and the Olympics are more exciting as opposed to just dominant by you guys or whatever. And that might be a bummer for you, but that's more exciting for fans to watch. Maybe you win again next time. Whatever. But good Lord. Get it together, Canada.
I have to be angry.
Well, they're so nice. You're booing your own players because they played for America. This is a country you want to be. So belligerently, like, I can't accept my own loss, sort of thing. Oh, the bitter pill. And here's the funny thing: if America lost, we'd have just moved on.
Like, oh well.
Canada would have been sitting there gloating about it, saying how great they were because they
For the
beat
next
the
10
United States
years.
in hockey, and we would have been
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever.
Well, and there's countless videos of people on YouTube being like, "This is our sport. There's no way we're going to lose. This is our sport." One podcast actually claimed there's such little chance that America could possibly win that they will do whatever the top comment says. And the top comment was, "Move to America and join the Marine Corps."
Oh my
Which
god.
they deleted, but then realized they were going to get backlash. So they did a token video of them calling to be like, "How do we set it up where we join the Marine Corps? Can you help us with that?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, it wouldn't be that difficult." And they're like, "Oh, so we could join the Marine Corps even though we're not Americans?"
Oh yeah, buddy. That's actually a great way to get citizenship. Pal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have
Come on
followed
down.
through, but and to be fair, at least to Canada too, there have been some commentators that have been very classy when it came
yeah.
to what had happened, where a lot of people were like, "Oh, asterisks, they cheated because of the 3-on-3." He's like, "Don't be spoiled sports. Don't. America won. Congratulations." And that's how any if Canada won, that's how America deal with it too. Not be bitter a-holes.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Because it'd be ridiculous.
We should only be bitter when the USSR won.
Yeah, exactly. Those
Darn commies.
goddamn commies. I remember when. Do you know who Don Cherry is?
No.
So he
sounds
was a
familiar.
Canadian commentator for hockey back in the day, known for having a no filter. Like he would say some pretty. He would be like in the terms of wrestling, he's almost like a heel commentator to a degree. Like he'll say the outrageous thing.
Oh, by the way, Vince
I remember
McMahon got in a car wreck. But
He did, yes. But like
just
I remember
funny
him
to see.
talking about, yeah. I remember him talking about like during the Olympics, like, oh yeah, everyone thinks like the North, because like the Europeans were really smug back in that time because this was the '80s when they had all of their amateur teams, and you know he was like, oh yeah, they think these North Americans can't play. You know, he's including the U.S. in that because the reality was Canadian and American players. Like it was hard to get them to play because they were all in the professional league making money. So it was hard to get them in the Olympics. And it turns out, the North Americans are really good at hockey. I wonder why.
yeah, we like the sport. So the Olympics happen. Congratulations, America. Congratulations, Canada. Second place is not terrible.
Silver's really good.
They had some breakout, difficult matches against, what was it, Czech Republic and Finland? Or
Mm-hmm.
like they had some close matches and stuff too. I mean, oh no, I got second place. Boo. Your ego is so wrapped up in you winning this thing. That's why it hurts so much.
Yeah.
You'll be fine. You'll be another how many years before you'll lose again.
Yeah, it'll be another 4 years, pal, and then we're taking it again. Don't you worry.
Build
Anyway,
themselves up again, and we get gold again in the next Winter Olympics.
Stay classy, Canada. And maybe this is another drought for America, but you see, our ego about being awesome is not wrapped up in us winning a gold at the Olympics. We'll move on and be like, we also still like football, so whatever. Anyway, it's been a fun podcast. We've had a lot of freaking stories to go over. It has been a big discussion on a lot of fronts. But before we get out of here, Jason, final thoughts?
Hey, we've said this multiple times on the podcast. Like what you like, man. Don't bother with other people's opinions, but at the same time, don't try to foist your beliefs on them through the media, basically.
Ross?
Hey, you know what? If you work for X company or Y company, and your boss tells you to harass somebody for a newsletter, don't do that. Call
Don't
the
do
police.
illegal things like stalking people. And
Yeah, don't do
breaking and
that.
entering.
Just maybe stop and go like, should I do this? This feels wrong. I don't know. I don't think we should do this. And because the reality is you're right. That is wrong, and you should stop because your boss may not go to prison, but you will.
Wait,
You
does
will.
that mean me telling you to stalk opposing podcasts is wrong, Ross? Are you trying to send me a message?
Listen, I can neither confirm nor deny that this conversation's been had.
By the way, that's wrong to do. Wait, are you telling me something? I shouldn't be bugging other people's phones? Is this what you're saying?
The hell do you mean?
Sending bugs and pig heads to wake up with a horse head in your bed?
Which I did find the original blog that sparked all of that, and I can confidently say, what?
Do they say anything controversial?
I mean, I can link it to you, but I don't think so, really.
Well, just
it's like,
read anything that might be negative.
okay, let's see. The very last sentence. eBay CEO has been unable to stop a decline in market sales, but trying to dissuade sellers from turning to Amazon and trying to get Amazon to stop recruiting sellers may not be the best tactic.
My
They have
God!
corporate
Quickly,
criticism.
Dare they?
It's super tame. It's nothing. It's
How dare you
very
bring out
short.
Iceland?
spiders.
Anyway, Silver, anything fun that stood out in this podcast discussion? Something final
Uh,
thoughts on?
Well, that eBay harassing that couple thing, definitely.
All right.
That was
That was a
wow.
wild trip.
More importantly, that story, I forget his name, with the movie that came out and the awards and the poor guy
Oh,
who's now
the-
getting
yeah.
flagged.
Davidson?
My gosh, people.
Yeah.
There's so many people online nowadays that fake Tourette's. Most people should know by now what it is. This guy is not at fault. He did not mean to. He apologized. Stop going after him.
Just the nerve to be, for all of you saying he had no control over what he said, you're wrong. Community note, he has no control over what he says.
Yeah.
As it turns out,
All
Yeah,
right,
get
well,
smoked on this one.
we're going to get out of here. We appreciate your coming along. And even if we disagree with you, feel free to comment. Because discussion is more important than belligerence. But it's time to get out of here. We will see you guys next time, next Saturday, as always. What is it, 7 p.m. East Coast time?
ew.
Let's see.
West
Two-
Coast, 11.
Pacific Standard Time is 8 p.m.
We're at 9
Central.
Mountain.
Oh, 10 p.m. Central.
And then 11 Eastern.
Yeah, you had it flopped.
Oh,
Yep, 11
Eastern
p.m.
is
Eastern.
Yeah, Eastern is younger, so it's backwards. Math hard. Let's go.
If you like the show, follow Rhett, Jason, Ross, and Silver, the world's most lethally stupid internet personalities, on Twitter at DG Podcast or on Instagram at Distracted Gamers. If you liked or hated what you heard here today, you can email them at thedistractedgamers@gmail.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason would care, since he hasn't any, of course.